All right, let's see here. Why is that there? Oh, there it goes. Yay! Oh boy, man, today is has been a fun day so far. I've been fighting this challenger, but finally got it. Finally got some stuff. I gotta work on idle some more, but we're getting closer. You see the timing here is negative, means I got too much idle air on it. But before the damn thing wouldn't even freaking idle at all. So the fact that it's idling now is good. I've got too much air on it. I gotta put some, gotta cut the air down and put less on it. So, anyways, I'm in a 2006 Challenger RT. It's auto. I think they're all auto, right? I don't know. Maybe they're manual. Who knows? And he's got a cam in it, exhaust. I'm writing a tune right now to it. I don't know if you can see that window or not. No, you can't. Okay. So I'm writing the tune to it right now. Pull the idle air out of it so that it doesn't idle so high and with so little timing. That's one way to tell on a lot of these cars. They don't have a lot of cars. They don't have a more traditional idle control scheme on them, um, and they're more just about torque based or airflow based, and that's it. Um, they tend to use ignition first before throttle, which is good. I love that they use ignition before throttle on them, but sometimes they don't use enough throttle, especially the LT1s and LT4s from Chevy. Those things, you tell them to use air, and they will just use that amount of air, and then you will uh, fire them up, and the timing's like -6 degrees, and the exhaust manifold is glowing red because you're just spitting fire out the exhaust port. And yeah, and if you don't catch it, then you're like, oh, why is my header glowing red? Why does it smell so hot in here? Why did the car catch on fire? You know, that's a thing that happens if you don't do the idle tuning correctly on these things. So I'll just turn down the idle air this time, and oh, I missed a call. Nobody knows. All right, let me reconnect here to the car. We'll see if the timing is less than -2. Hey, look at that. So now we're in the closer realm of where the timing on this thing should be. Positive numbers, a little bit of variance there as it controls speed. I like it. All right, so that's way better shape. That means we're a lot closer. Also, you'll see that it's right around the 700 mark. I got the idle set at 700, and we're bouncing both sides of 700. And so we're seeing timing go low when it's high and timing go high when it's low. So that's good. I'm much happier with that. One thing you can notice now, look at the right side. Look at these trims. This thing's got a big cam in it, and the VE map is just too much in factory form. It's a gigantic trim we got going on here. Um, some of those initially popped down because of post start enrichment, but then, so you see here, now we're getting some positive short term back. So it learned a little too quick on the long term after the startup with the post starter in there, and then that faded away, and now it's got a +10 and a -6. So our overall trim on this bank is about 6, and this bank, our trim is about 16. Um, so that's weird. These do have VE maps based on each side of the engine, and supposedly it says here that the VE for bank 2 is disabled, but I'm guessing by the fact that I changed VE bank 1, and I don't think I updated bank 2 the second time I changed it. I did the first time. Yeah, that the bank 2 for VE or VE bank 2 is not disabled, I'm guessing, even though it says it is disabled on this tune. So that would make sense as to why I'm seeing that 5% offset, because I pulled about 5% out of bank 1 VE table on my last flash. So um, it's only an idle So once I get into cruising, it should hopefully be level, and that'd be good. I'd like to see them balanced, because if they're off, that means that it's probably something like an intake manifold leak or some shit like that, which I don't want to have, because I already had to deal with that with the Audi R8 the other day. Oh, you guys weren't here for that. That's my bad. I should have streamed the Audi R8. All right, here we go. Brain drive. I got to turn off the trash control on this thing. I think it's over here. I think it's that button right there, but I can't see. There's no light. That button might also be the trunk, so let's see what we got. That is the trunk. Okay. It doesn't have trash control. I don't see a button. Oh, there it is. I'll plug in the seatbelt too for you. All right, that's everything off. All right, so we're rolling a whole 6 miles an hour here. I got to steer though, because rear wheel drive, so that's fucking great. Locker and second here. See, those trims are a lot closer, bank to bank, than they were at idle, so looks like that thing wasn't back. Okay, now I let off the throttle, and it's still kind of driving itself a little bit. So that means I added too much air in this region, which I was worried about when I did it. I lowered idle air at like 6 grand, but I didn't lower enough right there in that range. She drove a little bit on her own. Oh, I thought I had it down on speed mode. I got it in craft mode. There we go. That's better. All right, so my goal now is to attack this VE map, right? We want to figure out what the VE should be. And right now, it is obviously not supposed to be wherever it is. So let's look at our fuel trims here. So I'm going to build this table here with fuel trim, and then I'll apply these corrections to the fuel table in the tune. Now, what we should get is a lot of negatives at light low, a lot of negatives at low RPM, and then on the top end, it should start going the other way. As the cam starts to flow more than the factory cam did, we should start getting not enough fuel in relation to the trim. See here, the trim's not 15 anymore. I'm going to stop this real quick. Let's see. Knock stuff isn't enabled. All right, now I get all those zones all over again. All right, now we choose a different speed, so I can get a different RPM set. This is basically the vertical column on the histogram on the right. A little winger than I like them. Okay, I'm gonna try and get this 1600 to 2000 RPM range, so I'm gonna turn the speed down. Ooh, that's like the drive. I can stall it a little bit something like that. Yeah, there we go. That's like perfect. All right. All right, so globally at less than 65, 55 and less, I'm definitely in the teens. So I'm just going to pull 15% of that whole area. At lower RPMs here, I'm at 18 to 20%, less than 16. So I'm going to pull about 20% off of 400, and then I'll blend that into about 15% off of everything under 55, and then 5% under 3,000 RPM. That's what I'm going to start doing in the tune um, for my adjustments here. I hit 3,200 or not? I did. I got to 32. Yeah, a lot off of that, which makes sense. There's a big VE jump right at 32 on this thing, which does not coincide with what this thing's actually going to be doing. So we'll do that. Then right here, do that. I'm going to preemptively add some on the top end though, because this cam is going to be improving the top end. So I'm preemptively add 5% up top. Um, just so that when I go to do the first pull up there, I'm not surprised. All right, so I've restructured the VE curve. I'm gonna look at it and see how it looks. It doesn't look too bad, but there's definitely some holes that I think I want to address. I mean, again, VE curves, I think I've told people this on multiple occasions. They don't have to be pretty, because engines don't necessarily breathe pretty. The more cylinders you have, the more likely they are to be a little prettier, but you still have plenum resonance and all sorts of other resonances to fuck with, or to deal with, I shouldn't say fuck with, to deal with. Um, This down here. That was the wrong button. I'm gonna go with this one. So it's not as pretty as I'm used to them being, but we'll see what happens when I test it. I don't want to make a VE map based on it looking pretty because, like I said, that may not be close to the truth. Oops. Ah, shit. This is going to get rid of the rev hang. This thing has such wicked rev hang. Let's try again. Who's at my house? My wife's not. All right. Oh, I like that. I like the startup. Way improved. So much better than before. I'm really excited about that. The little things, man. Little things go a long way. Startup, super smooth. Sounds good. It's unfortunately I did what I tend to do, and that's make them idle too good. And I'm not into that shit. I make them idle too well, and can't hear the cam very much. Look at that airfield trim, huh? Look at that. Smidge low. I need to add a tiny bit of fuel there. It looks like I'm a fan of that. That's so satisfying. I'm gonna tell you the truth. When you're tuning and you change something by the error that's available, and you put the new value in based on error, and the result comes out correct, that's extremely satisfying because there are so many systems where it just doesn't. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, what just happened? It said it was 15% off. I changed it 15%. That kind of thing. So now we can see here actually starting to build up some. So I might have spoke a little too soon. But this does have IAT adders and that kind of stuff too. So that's interesting that it's building up now after sitting. It was really good. Now it's sat and it's starting to build up some. So I guess I spoke too soon. Rev's quick. Still hangs like a mother though. Holy crap. What's the timing during the hang? Too much. Too much timing during the hang. Because I have less air in it in that region that comes with stock. So, but you can see the timing still 25, 30 degrees in coast down. It's too much. I should try and see if I can make that not red hang as bad. But first, let's go back here. It's so beautiful. You don't even know. I spent an hour and a half on this thing earlier with it dying every time I put it in gear. So to finally get it to just go in smoothly is glorious. All right, now look at that trim there. It's pulsing quite a bit. I'm guessing I'm in between zones on the throttle, and I'm getting a little bit of a accel enrichment there. Or that's just the normal cycle that it's supposed to do to verify catalyst is working. Hey, but 5%, I'm happy with that. Yeah, on throttle changes down lower, I was getting ridge spikes, and up higher, I'm getting a little bit of lean spike. I'm a fan though. That's way better than it was. I love 6% all day long. 6% is great. On one of these speed density Dodges, that's good news. Oh, a smidge rich right there. Oh, I should lean now. Okay, so in between zones. There we go. Correcting myself. Okay, so the 45 wants fuel, the 50 doesn't. So I'm gonna look at my VE curve and see what I got in those two zones. See if it's a big jump or not. 45. What RPM was that? 1200. They actually only vary by 1% on the map of that zone. I don't like though the car is self-driving in third gear at 1300 RPM. Let's go to normal drive and see what it does. Oh, it's slowing down. Still though, I still feel like I got too much air on it. in this zone, which is really weird because, like I said, I have less on than the factory tune did in this spot. All right, so I'm going to add VMAP2, or add those changes to VMAP2, go back to my airflow, back to my minimum. I'm going to fair to stock. Maybe I do have more in that one zone than I did before. Oh, I got a TQMS light. I got a flat on this thing. Fair this to stock. Let's see what I got. Oh, I do have more in that in one spot. 2,000 RPM. I have less at 4,000. I have more at 2,000. Yeah. I wonder if I can change the breakpoints on this. I hope I can. That'd be great because I really love to change those. I think I can change the axis. Yeah, I can. Well, let me edit that. I would really like to change this RPM to a lower one. But I need this idle air for idle. So my idle set point is higher. Do this. So, Mark, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it's definitely because I said something for that. That's obviously the idle air I was talking about. And actually, still, it's way better. As you saw, the long term still stayed around 0, so I can't complain about that. Where before it was negative 18, and everywhere else on the map, it's way closer. So I'm extremely ecstatic with that. I'm hoping this next change adjusts that one trim a smidge, and I'm hoping it also helps keep it from driving itself. That's one of the issues with having just a base minimum idle airflow and not having a minimum airflow, not an airflow based on idle. Under idle airflow, this thing has a desired and it's all zeros. And I don't know why it's all zeros. It makes me nervous about adding stuff to a table that's zeroed out otherwise, you know? So that's a little worrisome. I might adjust my throttle setting so I can adjust idle torque for throttle when I'm driving. But you gotta be careful because that often just screws everything up. We'll see how this changed it first before I go doing stuff that's a little off the rails or unorthodox. We'll see if this helps. Oh, that startup is so good. The startup and idle is so good. Rev it up. Oh, look at that. Slowing right down. Oh yeah, that did. That worked great. Okay, we're good. We're good. That is perfect. Now we're in second gear, and it idled right down to like 900 RPM. I'm gonna go to first. Because one thing you don't want is you don't want to drive off on its own in like any gear, right? Especially not first gear. Um, yeah, now we're sitting right at 900 RPM, rolling in first gear at 8 miles an hour. Put some brake on. Put the brake on all the way. And let off again. It goes pretty much immediately to 7, but that's with no load. So I'm gonna put some load on it on the dyno and see if it slows the car down enough to where I don't have to worry about it. We'll throw 25% on here. At this low speed though, like the load, okay, it stopped. So I put load 60, it stops the roller. Load 50, load 40. Okay, load 40, it starts to turn. So right at 40, it allows it to turn. It's got 300 pounds of torque right now and 2.2 horsepower. So right now, at 900 RPM, it's producing 2 horsepower to the wheels. So it's 2 horsepower more than is needed to idle the car. And obviously the torque is going to be a huge multiplier because I got first gear plus torque converter plus rear end and all that stuff, right? It's going to be totally multiplying the torque. So that doesn't surprise me at all. 2.2 horsepower, huh? Well, I'll have to test that. Spark is 8 degrees. I think we're good. I think that's a good spot. I'll have to test it on the road to know for sure. Um, but I think that's really a spot. I think we're almost ready for some polls. Yep, I think we're ready for polls. That all seems really good. All right, I think I'm going to do polls in third. Yeah, let's go with third. Check the RPM in third. That's 60. Perfect. 3,000. Okay. There it goes. All right. In my opinion, it's lean as fuck. Power curve looks nice. It shifted too early because it's programmed from the factory to shift to 55, which was a smidge too early. Just a little bit though. Like the power just started coming down right there, so I think I need to bump it to like 57 or 58, and I think it's going to be a better shift point. It definitely needs fuel. It's running 13.5. I mean, NAS motors you could run 13.2, make good power, but I feel like this thing should have a little more than that. Um, yeah, and we had knock retard too, so just at the top there, slightly before the shift point. Maybe that was the shift point. Okay, so that's retard. That might not even be knock retard. It might just be classified as knock retard, but it's actually traction control or the torque management activating. I don't see anything in here that says anything bad. Just needs a little more fuel in the PE range. But the VE curve is correct in its shape because the air fuel ratio is a plateau. It's a flat line. It richens up in power and it's just flat. So I've got the right shape on the VE curve and potentially even the right values in the VE curve. I just got to see what the power enrichment has it set at, or what it's set at. I didn't look at that, so let's find out. Power enrichment, power ratio. That's just a straight freaking value right there. So it needs a little more. Needs a little more. And let's see. So 1.04. 4%. Good. I'm going to increase the enrichment rate a little bit too. I feel like it was a little slow to enrich. So I'm going to do this. That. Then I'm going to go to my rev limiter. Yeah, the rev limiter is set at 66 on the engine. Oh no, sorry, that's not right. It's set at 58 on the engine. Okay, and fuel to it. That's good. I'm going to open loop and see what my multiplier is. Oh, that's 0. And 0. Okay, cool. Oh, you guys can't even see that, can you? Can't see the tuning. You only see the logging software. All right, save that, and then I'm going to open the trans tune and adjust the trans tune next. Whoops. Flash this guy, and then we'll open the transmission tune. I'm going to bump the shift point up. So since I want to raise the shift point by about 500 RPM and it's currently shifting at 55, I'm starting off by just adding 10% to the shift schedule. The shift schedule is based on output shaft speed. So if I'm raising 10%, that's what you're saying. I'm pushing up that shift right there. That makes sense. I can see it. Um, okay. Anyway, so yeah, I'm adding 10% to the shift schedule based on output shaft speed, and it's a direct line, right? Output shaft to input shaft, or which is the engine, is directly coupled. So if I do a percentage basis, I'm changing the percentage at the engine as well. Technically, though, that's 550 RPM, which might even be higher than I want. So we'll find out. Let's see how she behaves. Right now, I'm just going into the shift schedule and changing the shift points at 100% throttle for all of them except for winter. I don't know what winter is. I don't see a button for that, but I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm not adjusting pressures. I'm not adjusting timing because if you mess with that wrong, especially if you get a synchronous shift incorrect, it is smoke city for the transmission. We don't want that at all. And I'm not reducing torque management on the transmission. It's still going to cut on the cut engine torque on the shift because we want the train to stay together. A lot of guys will kill that torque management, and it'll shift harder, it'll bark or whatever. But honestly, if I was this train has got 180,000 miles on it. Let me just start with that. This train's got 180,000 miles on it. So my goal is for him to have a transmission that lasts. And we turn the power up on it, and that's enough, I think, this poor thing. So let's see if we can get this one going. Let me go far enough. No. His training controller has been super finicky. I've had to read the map multiple times, so I gotta hope that it doesn't like error in the middle of a flash, and then I do it over and over again. Oh fuck! I didn't realize it said right entire on here. This is me nervous right now. Just you're wondering. I don't have an option to write just the changes to the training. We only have an option to write entire, which means if you write entire, you have the I'm trying to say, the possibility of bricking the ECU or the trans controller is there, and it's a much higher chance than if you just write the changes. Um, so I don't know why right calibration wasn't an option, which is just the changes. It only gave me the right entire on there, so that makes me nervous. Um, but let's see what happens. I hope it makes it. Right now we're 80%. I hope it does it because I just want to do this one set of changes to the transmission. 92, 96, 98, 100, validating. Let's hope it validates. Yay. All right, good. So now we got the trans flashed. We got the ECU flashed. We are in good shape here. Let's see if she shifts a little better. Well, not better, but later in the power. Start, but still money. Let's see how the rev is. Because it used to rev hang really bad. Let's see if the rev hangs. It does. Not as bad as it did, though. And it used to hang even worse than that. This hang now at this point is just mostly all timing. Look at that. Still 30s. Even though I'm off the throttle, it's still 30s. It's not trying to drive it back down. So it needs to. Let's drive it back down. Right there. My foot's off. Should be a torque cut. Should be cutting it down. What if I tap the brake if it'll do it? No, I want to see if the brake would tell the ECU, oh my God, help, help, help. You know, like trying to slow down or something. But idle timing's still good. I'm getting some teens out of it. Single digits. That's good. I like how that feels. Responsive. We're in good shape. We're in real good shape right now. Loving that. Oh, yeah. That was perfect. That shift happens just as power starts to come over. It's going to stay at the peak of the power band for the entire time. That is awesome. Okay, so the training is done. I'm not fucking with that anymore. That was perfect. That shifted money. Right at like 60, 50 or whatever it was, it shifted. And the torque management was there. That was all good. So that part is great. Fuel, still not great, unfortunately. Fuel is still not great. Let's see, I'm here. 58. Yep, right there. Look at that. 59.90. Commands a shift, starts pulling timing. Actually, it pulled a little timing before that on its own from knock. That one's definitely not. Because it didn't richen up. Unfortunately, it did not richen up. So I'm going to add it to the VE table. So basically, from 3,000 and up, I'm going to add 5%. Let's see what I want. So we're at 13.7, 13.5. That's too much. So yeah, I'm at 9.3 lambda. Ooh, I don't want that. I want like 12.3. I want like 8.4 lambda. So I'm at 9.3 and I want 8.3. So I had 10% fuel. Okay. You got 10%. So I'm gonna add 7%. Add 7. Now this might lower engine output. Probably not. Probably not from being richer, but lower output from a reduction in timing. Because when I add to the VE table, it's going to push the load higher and it's going to pull timing out of it. So I'm going to add fuel and pull timing all at the same time by increasing the VE. And I'm okay with that. See what it does to engine power. I don't know if it's going to be too much or too little or what. Sorry, my wife's texting me. So power enrichment, adding to the power enrichment table did nothing. That was really weird. I was honestly surprised by that. Because I added quite a bit to it, and it changed not an ounce. So I'm not going to mess with that. Because honestly, if I didn't do shit, I'm not going to keep throwing stuff out trying to make it do what I want to do. I'm going to go to the VE table. We're going to adjust that. Oh, we're already off the chart on top for timing anyways, so I don't think it's going to pull too much time out of it. Okay, now already at the top end of it, so I think we're all right. I'll check this one here. Yeah, it's based on pressure, not based on airflow, which I didn't expect. This is annoying. I keep snoozing this fucking thing. I'm snoozing it, so I don't know what's up. All right, let's see if that works. Let's see if that works. I'm kind of disconnected. All right, I'm talking about that. So transition shifted here. Yeah. Transition shifted here on that one. So I bumped it up a smidge, okay, just so that when you shift, it's not dropping down here to the lower horsepower. It's staying up here at this horsepower peak. So before it was shifting like this, and now we're shifting like this. The car's gonna be faster. So now it's gonna bang that shift right at 6K. Okay. That's where it's going. Instead of 55 like it was here, it's right at 6K. So we just went up 500 RPM, and yeah, it's good. What's the line with that? That's air fuel. Oh, it's too lean right now, so I'm adding fuel to it. I tried to add fuel last run, it didn't do it, so I'm adding more right now. It's flashing. We're doing a pull. So the next run, it should dip down here to about this line-ish. So around this line is where it should be. And the horsepower might drop a little bit, but it was knocking a smidge up here, and we don't want to knock, so it might drop like probably 5 to 8 horse, maybe. But it'll be safer, and that's important. Alrighty. Flash is done. Cycle the key. Fire it up. Oh, it runs so good. Man, you guys can understand. I fought that thing embarrassingly in the parking lot in front of the customer. He's standing next to me for like an hour, hour and a half. Start, die, start, die, start, run for a while, run really good. Then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, die. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't find the table. They moved it in the software. I don't know why. And yeah, I was really I was embarrassed. There I am, things dying like crazy. It didn't die when it showed up. Well, he there and told me that it had a problem dying a lot when he first put a flash on it, which made sense because I just put a flash on it. But that was it. And I'm putting a flash on it and it's still dying. I'm trying to make the damn thing run right. And anyways, I'm super excited that it starts so good, goes into gear, doesn't stutter, doesn't stall, doesn't do anything, and just runs good. I'm really happy with that. Oh man, that was beautiful. Holy shit. That was so beautiful that when I told them it's going to be about this line, it laid on top of that line. So not only did it look like I knew what I was talking about, but turns out I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, like the exact line I told them that the AFR would sit, it sat at. And it actually didn't lose any power. It picked up power because it wasn't knocking. So, I think it wasn't knocking. Let's find out. It wasn't knocking. Yep, picked up power. No knockage. Dude, we are done. We are fucking done. That is awesome. It nailed that shift. It picked up power. It nailed my air fuel target. Just everything. That was great. I'm excited. I'll show you guys the graph here in a second. Let me clear off all these other ones. I'm going to bring up just that last one. Look at it. Yeah. That is awesome. All right. We disconnect from the ECU. Go with the scanner. Anyways, I'm so pumped. I don't tune Dodges very often. Um, but when they go right, it was definitely worth being happy about, let me tell you. Close this. Enlarge my peak door. Hi, everybody. Unplug it from the. By everybody, I think it's like nobody, because none of my normal watchers would give a shit about Dodge. There we go. the AFR at the bottom there, right here. There's a gray line. I say it's going to sit around this gray line. Sure enough, doing exactly that gray line. So that's killer. That's really killer. And I'm sure it's like, wait, only 380 or 370, but it's $1.90. Yeah, that's 400 on somebody else. So, anyways, that went really good. Really good once I figured out what the hell was going on with the idle, and I'm really happy with the results. It hit all the targets I wanted to do. It was a knock at the end. Made good power, and I know it's right there. I couldn't add any more timing because it was knocking. I knew it was knocking from fuel, but that tells me, you add a little bit of fuel to it, slows the burn down, pulls a little heat out, and puts you within that threshold some. Does it get me out of the threshold enough I can add a degree or two? Maybe, but typically if you're already that close to the threshold, a degree is not going to get you enough power to make it worth the potential loss in reliability or putting you in more proximity to the knock threshold. So overall, I'm really excited with that. Looks really good. The power curve is great, and that shift was just nailed by the transmission. It just did exactly what I asked it to do. I am so actually I'm really happy. I'm happier with this Dodge tune than I have been with many other tunes of other manufacturers in quite some time. So that's great. I'm really excited. But anyways, I'm gonna stop now. Good. I gotta give this to the customer. Gotta go home. I got company from out of town. There we go. It's a nice blue Charger. I make 100 more horsepower in the wheels than a Stage 2 STI, but probably needs it because it weighs a lot more in a Stage 2 STI. This thing is that low, man. Tires are huge. I think we started with. It's huge. This thing is huge. So, regardless, though, it's going to rip. And I know he's going to be happy with it, especially with the improvement in idle quality. Startup and idle, indie gear, and everything is just so much better. I'm excited. I'm happy. So far, it's a good day. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming by. Hopefully, you learned something. I know I didn't share the HPTuners. I should have. That was an error on my part. But there'll be lots of HPTuners in the future. Develop mixed model opportunities to do other stuff. Thanks for stopping by, Mark.